Hi everybody, this is Mrs. Wilson. Welcome back. Sorry that the last video ran out. I only have 15 minutes when I use the Screencast-O-Matic to record a lesson, and so I was running to the end of that. But it was a good time to break off because I could break the amendments up into amendments 1 through 5 and then 6 through 10, where we will begin right now with this video. So Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment guarantees we have a speedy trial. For instance, you can't be kept in jail for over a year without a trial. At least that's what the law says. That may or may not always happen, but that your case should be put before a jury in a timely fashion. Also, it guarantees that you have your trial before a jury of people that don't already think you're guilty. So what we call an impartial jury. They don't know, they haven't made their mind up one way or the other, they haven't heard the evidence, so they come in with an open mind and they listen to the case and they decide on a verdict based on the evidence. Also, the accused must be allowed to have a lawyer. And so many of these amendments, especially 6, 7, 8, really cover the rights of people that are accused of crimes. And so the idea being that even if you're accused of a crime, that doesn't mean you have given up all your rights that are protected by the Bill of Rights and the U.S. Constitution. And everybody gets a lawyer, whether you pay for a private lawyer or the court appoints a lawyer for you. So the Sixth Amendment, and of course you can pause this video at any time and you complete the Bill of Rights note page on your in the Google Drive. And if you notice the Bill of Rights note page, if these two pages were side by side, they would form a shield. And a shield being sort of a symbol for something that will protect us. And the Bill of Rights are meant to protect us from abuses, whether it's from people or from the government. And so this Bill of Rights shield, kind of like a Captain of America shield, sort of that protects us from our rights being taken from us. The Seventh Amendment guarantees that citizens have the right to a trial by jury. And in a civil case, it doesn't say that here, but in a civil case, they have a right to a civil trial if what they are suing for costs $20 or more. And that's where you might see, Judge Judy, for example, or any of those judge shows on TV where somebody presents, they're trying to regain some civil, they filed a civil trial or a civil case against somebody that maybe ripped them off for some money, and they are trying to get that money back. And so as long as the value is $20 or more, they have a right to a trial by jury. The Eighth Amendment guarantees that punishments will be fair and not cruel and unusual, and that large bail will not be set. So the key here is cruel and unusual. Somebody, for example, might be caught for shoplifting. You don't want to, put them to death, for example, for shoplifting. Likewise, you don't want to put somebody in jail for shoplifting and set their bail at $2 million. So bail should always, theoretically should match the crime. So if it is shoplifting, again, you shouldn't be charged with a bail that's $2 million and you'll never get out of jail. Likewise, a bail for a horrendous crime should also match that crime. It shouldn't be something really, really small for, say, murder or something like that. All right, so on your note page, you will fill in the missing information. And again, you can pause this at any time just so you have time to fill in the information that's missing on your Google Sheet. All right, so no excessive fines or bail, no cruel or unusual punishment. The 9th Amendment. Again, this is not on your Bill of Rights shield, but it is one of the first 10 amendments. And it says that all rights not stated in the Constitution and not forbidden by the Constitution belong to the people. That means you and me. This means that the states or the people can do what they want if the Constitution does not forbid it. So if it doesn't expressly say in the Constitution you can't do something, then it apparently is okay. So if you want to grow a mustache and the Constitution says it's against the law, that you can't, it doesn't say anything that against growing a mustache or anything like that, then by all means do that. And that's just a silly example, but an example nonetheless. These are also known as forgotten rights, and the idea being that there are so many things, like growing a mustache, for example, that simply cannot be listed in the U.S. Constitution. Otherwise, the U.S. Constitution would be, tens of thousands of pages long. And so you just have to use good judgment and understand that our founding fathers could not write every single right down. That some things are just common sense. And yes, of course, if you want to grow a mustache, by all means, go ahead and grow a mustache. It's not a big deal. You don't need permission to do that. And finally, the 10th Amendment. The 10th Amendment states that any power not granted to the federal government belongs to the states or to the people. And this is also something that we talked about yesterday with checks and balances and separation of powers and so forth, that the government is huge. The government in running a country takes a lot of work, and it's more work than just the federal government alone can do. And so they share responsibility with the states. And the 10th Amendment is the basis for the principle of the Constitution called federalism, which is also one of your vocabulary words. So the 10th Amendment is this idea that we see in action every day. The federal government has its responsibilities, state governments have their responsibilities, and then there are things that they both share, and that is federalism. And things like we talked about yesterday, collecting taxes, are something both the states and the federal government can do. So this concludes our discussion on the Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments, you'll have an opportunity to watch some brief videos that I show my students in class on ways to remember the 10 amendments, and we do that using hand signs. So I look for some videos on YouTube of other kids. In this case, I think it's high school kids that are using hand signs to learn the 10 amendments. And it's really been a good way to try to remember the 10, because they can be pretty confusing. So that will be one of your assignments this week as well. Let me know if you have any questions. You know how to get a hold of me. Have a good week.